it's Saturday night.
Oh gosh, you are dating yourself.
That's right.
I might have heard that a few times.
That's right.
Welcome to our Raymond School District number 14 special school board meeting. Our mission, empowering all students by nurturing a culture of academic excellence, igniting curiosity, and cultivating perseverance within a supportive community. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. This meeting is now called to order. It is 5:30. Please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mike?
Roll call. Yep. Ed Robinson.
Here.
Jennifer Gonzalez.
Here.
Mike Powers. Audrey Kostick.
Here.
Keith Castington is absent, excused. We got Jeff Genovese present as well as Dana Marty. Hopefully our guests had a chance to sign in the back. Did you guys get a chance to sign in?
Okay.
Okay.
We have verification of public notice pursuant to 19.841 Wisconsin statutes.
Yes, we're posted in all the usual spots. Schoolhouse doors, e-version, Village Hall, online, media were notified, and I don't see them here, but they've been notified.
Okay.
Mrs. President, I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add the future board meeting times to the agenda.
Okay. There's a motion to amend the agenda for future board meeting times. Is there a second?
Oh, second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Do we discuss it later?
Yeah.
During, okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next, we'll approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Move to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And at this point, I will turn this over to Mike.
Yes.
This is the
Our
reorganization.
reorganization
part of
meeting, here we go.
Thank you.
I have the power temporarily, here we go.
We can't hear anything.
Okay,
You're all whispering.
probably
We're
deaf.
Audrey's whispering.
we're just talking, and that's kind of the nature of the workshop, but yes.
Oh,
As I get older myself, I can't quite do it, especially with a little echo.
yeah.
I have taken over the meeting here. We're looking to fill our positions, the board roles. Every spring, we're required by the state of Wisconsin to reorganize the elected officials on our board. Congratulations to Ms. Gonzalez for her recent appointment that way. It's got to take place prior to the fourth Monday in April, so we're kind of, her appointment is prior to the fourth Monday, you're taking over. We can reorganize shortly after, so this is the first meeting after. So we're doing it. So I'm looking for, there's a process. We have to ask for a nomination for the various roles, and then we go through a second, and then I have to repeat myself 3 times about nominations. And if there's only one nomination, the board may proceed with a voice vote. So we'll kind of take it as we go. So I'm looking for a nomination for the role of school board president.
I nominate Audrey Kostick
I
for
second.
president.
Do I have to second that?
I would ask, in a second here, I'll ask you for the second. I think first and foremost, do you accept the nomination?
I would.
And is there a second?
I second.
Okay. So motion made by Ed Robinson, seconded by Gonzalez, and for Audrey as president. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? And it says here, if there's one nomination, the board may proceed with a voice vote. So being no other nominations, all those in favor of Audrey Kostick for board president, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, so congratulations to our board president, Audrey Kostick. And you'll take over, at this time I'll turn it back over to you to fulfill the roles of vice president, clerk and treasurer, as well as director, which is for the non-board member that we have, the fifth person. Okay?
All right, thank you, Mike. Thanks for your confidence, guys.
Congrats,
We move to the election of vice president. Is there a nomination for the vice president?
I nominate Mike Powers.
I accept.
Oh, we need a second.
No,
No, a second, okay.
He has to accept the nomination.
Oh, you accept, okay.
Rules and.
Yeah, I think I gave you this. It's on
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it's right there, under your hand.
Are there,
Is there a
No.
second? Yeah.
now is there a second?
I second it.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? And one more time, are there any other nominations? Yeah. Since Mike has been nominated for the vice president's position, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Mike, you are our new vice president. And next we move to the election of clerk.
Nominate
Is,
Jenny.
okay.
I
Nominate
accept the nomination.
Jenny, okay. Are there any other nominations?
No, I have
Are
second.
there any other nominations?
Oh, you'd have to second first.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Oh, he
I nominated,
nominated.
I'll second it.
Okay.
And second, yeah.
Now we do the.
Are there any other nominations?
Oh, good, 5 times.
Are there any other nominations? And are there any other nominations? Jenny Gonzalez has been nominated for the clerk's position. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did you say aye?
Aye, yes,
Okay.
aye.
We're all half awake tonight.
It's a Monday.
It's Monday.
Jenny is our clerk.
I'm banging my head on too loud.
Next, we move to the election of treasurer. Is there a nomination for the treasurer?
I nominate Ed Robinson for treasurer.
I'll accept it.
And then I will second it.
Okay, good.
Hey, we're getting the hang of this.
There you go, fourth time's the charm.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? And one last time, are there any other nominations? If there are not, all those in favor of Ed being our treasurer?
Aye.
Aye.
Ed, you are our new treasurer. Or continuing treasurer.
Yeah.
Or the old one. Over here.
And last but not least, is there a nomination for the director?
I nominate Keith.
Is there a second?
He's not here.
He's not here to accept, but,
Yeah. I'll second it.
okay. Are there any other nominations? No one's left.
You're right.
That's right.
Nominations? And are there any other nominations? Keith is our new director, our continuing director.
Aye, there you go, and none
Oops.
opposed, so
Aye,
4-0.
Yep.
Unanimous, got it?
Sorry, I jumped ahead there. Okay.
All right, that's
Um,
over.
We move to committee assignments, and that hasn't changed, I think, at all. Personnel will be Jenny and myself. Policy, Mike and myself. Curriculum, Jenny and Keith. Facilities, Ed and Mike. Finance, Ed and Keith. And at this time, I should ask if there are any other committees that you think that we might have for the board.
Any other benefit?
Mhm.
I think we've gotten a pretty good cadence to those meetings on the regular, as needed. Personnel meets a little less, curriculum meets as needed. Getting some things done with curriculum and Dana's needs. I think our standing finance meeting and standing facilities meeting are both handy because of the nature of those committees, so I feel like it's We're
Are we
good.
covering all the bases?
Mhm.
Okay. If you ever feel that there's a need for another type of committee, let us know.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have 2 delegates. One is for CISA, and Mike Powers will be our CISA delegate. And our WASB delegate this year will be Ed Robinson. So that completes that.
We do have a shake-up.
The next thing we'll need to do is the appointment of the deputy clerk or recording secretary. Is there,
Delegate for CISA.
So I would like to nominate Natalie Herman as our deputy clerk.
She's not here. I'll second.
I talked to her earlier, she accepts.
okay,
She's at a baseball game right now.
yeah,
Can't
okay.
blame them at this time of year,
That's right.
especially today.
Yeah.
All right, there's a motion and a second to appoint Natalie as our recording secretary / deputy clerk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. So, we move on to,
So then we were to discuss the time of our meetings, because we felt like with the reorganization, this is the appropriate time to discuss like any changes that would be occurring. One of the things that I'm looking at doing in the coming months is working with our WASB support people. We're checking our agenda to make sure it makes sense, it's compliant with all the expectations, and I did that. I inherited the agenda from a couple of superintendents ago, so we've made some subtle changes, but as we go through, we'll look at the agenda, we'll look at things like meeting times, and this is an opportunity for the board to say, okay, are we, the workshop structure followed by a meeting, that model is what we've been doing for the last, well, since I came on board. I find value in it. I think we're just getting started on a cadence. Both Audrey and I have sat down to think about, okay, what are topics and what does the board want to hear about and learn about? The workshop is a good informal tool for us to learn without taking action, because there's a lot of moving parts to being a board member, and I think you've all done a tremendous job of trying to learn. So if that structure is meeting our needs, then the other thing is just when do we meet? And right now, we meet the first Monday and the third Monday. We're not thinking of a change there, I don't think. And then, is the time of this meeting, you know, that we have our meetings, is that sufficient, or are we thinking of maybe making an adjustment there?
I personally wouldn't mind if they all started at the same time, like 6 o'clock. That is just, but that's up to, I don't,
is it
Or
a matter of
6:30.
getting here at?
5:30 is a little tough sometimes for me, but I mean, I make it work.
Mhm.
So if it doesn't change, that's okay too, but
Yeah, I like 6:30, but, I mean, this one ain't horrible. It's only one time a month, but.
right. So if we,
I would-
so usually our education or our workshops are only usually an hour anyway.
We try to keep it to an hour.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
would it benefit you for 6:30 to 7:30 instead of 5:30 to 6:30?
Doesn't really matter, I mean,
Does it,
I,
anybody?
I'd rather have them sooner than later.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, I mean, the regular board meeting, you know, that's
My
like,
feeling is to leave the workshops alone.
At 5:30?
Just leave that one alone. But the board meeting, I think we could move that one up sooner,
To about
like
6?
6.
If we were gonna do that, I wouldn't mind it being 5:30, but you have a hard time, right? So, okay, so
you
6.
see me running here,
Yeah.
5:30 just running in the
Oh,
door,
but I would be happy with that.
so.
Yeah, when I first started on board, they were at 7 o'clock. So, and sometimes those got to be some pretty late meetings.
Yes.
Sure.
So, and keeping into consideration the kids that come and,
Yeah.
uh,
Showcase?
Yeah.
You know,
Kids and
And
staff that
teachers
trying
and
to.
staff,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
engage
staff
a
has
little
gotta
bit.
come.
yeah. So moving it up a little bit gets them home a little bit sooner and.
Yeah.
We're not committing to super long meetings, so that's good. We're not saying we wanna have 2 and 3 hour,
No.
4 hour, you know, big substantial meetings.
So do we need a motion for these times?
You would make a motion to
And I
adjust.
move to have our workshop meetings continue to be at 5:30. And I would like to have our regular school board meetings moved till 6 P.M.
And keeping with the first and the third
And
cadence of
keeping
Mondays.
with the first
Okay.
Okay,
Monday as the workshop, the third Monday as the board meeting.
okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. There's a motion to keep the workshop for the first Monday of the month at 5:30 and the regular board meeting move to 6 PM on the third Monday. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, the next piece is our lottery. This is a unique one because this is one that we don't have to do in a meeting like this. It can be done just by administrative staff, but we felt like it's our first one, it's our first process, and we want to be as transparent as possible. It's recorded right now, live stream, so if people have questions about the way that we're doing it, we don't normally live stream workshops, but this is a special meeting. So we're trying to, make sure everyone understands that there's no, there's a defined process that is absolutely followed for this. So it's very similar to how Yorkville does theirs, because we have someone who kind of crosses over both worlds here. So we have our Yorkville rep is sitting at the table here. And the idea here is that we navigate open enrollment this way so that everyone feels like there's no question about our processes. So that said, I'll turn it over to Jeff, and he can share his screen.
Do we have lottery for every grade, or?
I'll explain.
Okay.
It's a little confusing at first, but I think once you understand it, it'll make sense. So I'm not gonna display any student names on the screen, just because for privacy.
Right.
Each, in your packet, if you wanna get out your packet. So the process is, we randomize the grade, so that's the first page here. So like, it says 4K kindergarten, you see all the students that have applied on the left side, and on the right side is where I'll randomize the order. So I'll just give you a quick example of that. So for instance, if I have 4K and then kindergarten, and I randomize that. So the first grade we would do, according to this, would be 4K, and the second grade would be kindergarten.
Okay.
It just happens that it's in order that way, but it does randomize. Oops.
So big picture, there were 40 applicants. One was a duplicate of a current student we have, so really there's 39 applicants. Current students do not have to apply to open enrollment. They don't count them, but they did do the process, so we have to include them on our list.
So I'd just like you to turn the page to the 4K. So your packet has each grade. So the first page is 4K. On the top it says how many seats that you guys approved in January, and for 4K it was 0, but we still do the lottery. There are some students that are already here that
There's some,
applied.
this one here, yes.
Yes, some students are already here that applied, they just don't understand that they don't have to apply again.
Correct. Yes.
I was just questioning the name, that's why
Yes,
I was.
that's the one that's currently here, yes.
And hopefully I identified that on the page. So the 4K sheet is a good example of what's going to happen in the rest of the sheets, because 4K is always the most complicated. So the left side is, it will always have the students that are siblings. So in board policy, we're accepting siblings. So those are all automatically approved per board policy. You see all those? Okay? And then the next 10 have numbers next to them, and we will randomize those numbers if we have room in 4K. So they will be denied on a wait list. So we'll randomize those numbers, and the first person on the wait list will be identified in the generator. So like number 1 might be wait list 6.
Okay.
And then, like, I will put that on the sheet on the last column as like if number 1 is 6, I'll put that there on wait list 6. Does that make, that's the most confusing part, because we're not using names, we're using numbers. So So like, number 1 is waitlist 6, number 2 might be waitlist 10. So it's kind of a weird, once you get that straight in your head, it makes sense.
Could you just big picture explain though too, how is it possible for us to approve a K-4 student even though we have 0 approved seats?
So-
How might that look?
So when you approve seats in a board meeting, you're saying that we absolutely have room for, like we said, 6th grade, we said kindergarten, we have 5. So the administration showed that we have room for 5, and we're comfortable with 5. So let's say that, 4 kindergartners leave the district, we know this next year, we can add 4 more kindergartners if we have room for them. And that's actually state statute and board policy, it's both state statute and board policy. So so instead of having like 2 classes of 14, you could accept more if a bunch of them leave, you would have 2 classes of 17, and it's not a burden on that teacher. We wouldn't do it if it was the 1st grade class at 25 and we would just add another one at 26, that wouldn't make sense. The goal is to make the class size manageable, but if a bunch of residents leave, we would have room. So, but that doesn't happen until way later. So they get a letter saying they're denied, they're on a wait list, but then if we have room, if they didn't accept somewhere else, then we would accept them probably in August, late August.
So if enrollment goes wonky and things aren't coming in with numbers that are even reasonable for a second section, we could go to the wait list for K-4 and accept open enrollment kids, even though they're not part of open enrollment, they're on a wait list. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
It's kind of like filling in to have more of a robust educational experience type thing.
You don't want 4 kids in class.
Or we don't want to cut a teacher and then put a class, that type of thing. So, and obviously 1 student is $11,000 in open enrollment, which is similar to the $12,000 we get for residents. So it makes
Better
sense
than
for
nothing,
us to
yeah.
sort of,
Utilize
make
that
that
capacity.
Backfill with students,
Right.
and you hate to say it because kids are more than a number, but when you're looking at budget, running a class of 17 is a lot more enticing than running a class of 12. Or having it so far that the board says we can't even have a second section, and then it causes another shift, right? So it gives us a little more flexibility. Okay.
okay. So, does that all make sense? And so the rest of the grades are the same. Some of them, many of them actually are done already because of the number of applicants that we had. So for instance, we didn't have any applicants in 3rd grade, so that's easy. We had 1 applicant in 4th grade, and we said we would accept 1, so that person is in. We don't have to do a generator for that particular grade. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
So I know that we had, I don't know, 3rd grade had quite a few seats because that 2nd grade is small.
yep.
If we didn't have any people, may we shift around and take a different grade? At
No,
some point?
you're just thinking of, right now, you're thinking of class sizes.
But later on,
Yeah, later on, if there's someone that does an alternate application for
Yes.
3rd grade,
yes.
we could accept them because we have room.
And the alternative application window opened today, because open enrollment just closed. So now any applications that come in are alternative enrollment, alternative open enrollment applications.
And it's a little bit harder to do. I'm still gonna just randomize all of them, even though we won't need them all.
So Mike, you guys got 40 total for all grades?
Yeah,
40 total
40.
applications.
So it's, okay,
That's new to Raymond people.
okay.
All right, so and then what I'm gonna do is I make a PDF of this thing, if ever there's an open records request. If there ever is, then we would obviously redact the students' names, but,
Yeah.
you know. So, you can write this down, or you can just follow along, it's up to you. So like, so number 1 is 1st grade, so we'll do 1st grade first, 2nd grade second, fifth grade, third,
Third grade,
third grade, fourth,
fourth grade, fifth,
4K, sixth, eighth grade, seventh, kindergarten,
and seventh and sixth.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
I think Jenny, you got it. If you, some people's brains just explode
Absorb
when
it,
we
and
start
other
to do
people
this.
just, you're
So,
along
Yeah,
for
it's
the
kinda,
ride.
I'm sitting here like, yep, I know what's going on.
Be careful, Jeff, you don't know gray matter on there.
Me numbers work really well.
All right, so we're gonna do first grade first, that'll be easy, because, first grade is done. I think first grade is done. Yes, so if you go to the first grade sheet, so we had we actually had two applications. So the first person, number one, they're denied, they're on wait list one. We had a special ed student, all special ed students are unfortunately denied, we don't have room for special ed students. And the districts have till the 8th to get back to us, because sometimes the applications don't say they're in special ed, but the district has to tell us if they're in special ed or not. So if we approve somebody and we find out they're in special ed, unfortunately, they get denied. So that's just how it goes. But for now, first grade is done because we had no seats open. We did deny one, there'll be a wait list one, and then a special ed denial. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
So that means first grade's full.
first grade is
Yep.
done.
Okay.
That's our giant kindergarten class that's moving up to the full.
So second grade, so if you go to the second grade sheet, we have 3 applications. I'm gonna randomize those 3. We had 0 seats open, so they'll all be denied on a wait list.
After they're randomized.
I just randomized them.
Okay.
I'm going to put 3,
2, 3, 1, I think it was.
Yep, 2, 3, 1.
doesn't want me to do that. Okay. So, number 2 is 1. Number 3 is 2.
Kinda like this randomizer thing.
Yeah,
Is this free?
it's free.
Oh,
And you look how you make the softball lines very well.
Right.
Whole football line.
Okay. Go back. Let's see, so the.
fifth grade.
2, 5th grade.
And I don't think you have to do that one.
So 5th grade, we had 0 seats, they're denied, we had 1 person, they'll be on the wait list, number 1. So that one's done.
Third grade.
3rd grade, we had no applications in 3rd grade, unfortunately, because we had 11 seats open.
Yeah.
And that's where you're approving these things, and we're saying, oh, these are big numbers coming in. We told you, the likelihood of us getting that many kids is very slim, unless something happens somewhere locally with a giant second grade class.
As the grades go, yeah.
As you
climb
go up,
the
it
grades.
doesn't usually, middle school, they'll try and jump over because they wanna get into a good high school, so they kinda try to track in at that point, but
So
Okay.
how many kids do we have right now going into third grade? So how many second graders?
14, a very small class, like
I'm
29.
11 shy.
29?
Yeah, 29,
And we have that split into 2 right now.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
very small classes.
Yeah,
But 29's too big for one.
yeah.
It's that spot where
So,
you want
see,
to
that's
supplement with
where-
open enrollment, that's where it helps to supplement.
That's why we ask for the 11, because the fixed costs don't change,
Right.
right?
Right,
The cost of educating a
Yes,
second grader is a cost.
right.
So we
So
can
it
divide that up
works for
across
help us there.
40, or we can divide it up across 29.
Okay.
Okay, so 4K is next.
Let's go to some schools and pick up some third grade. All right,
So we're gonna randomize 10 of them.
I think fourth grade was next, right? Yeah, fourth grade is next. No,
Okay.
fourth and then 4K, right?
I think we did, oh, 4th.
4th is done. It's only
Fourth is
one
done.
person.
Oh, I thought that was,
And fourth is one kid waitlisted.
okay, yep, you're right.
So now we're on number 6.
Now you're not on
So
4K.
4K,
Okay, all
that's
right,
okay.
I'm good, I'm
See,
following.
it is confusing.
It's like a
Yep.
dysfunctional fantasy draft. That's good.
I've been in some of those.
1 through 10, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep.
So of the
Okay,
40
we don't know
applicants,
how many residents we have at all, do we? Any?
we
So
have
far, we have
it's
6.
a growing sense. We had a kindergarten roundup day on Friday, May 1st, and we had some interest, and there's a few that we handed out, like 2, I think it was, 2 families came in that were not currently registered. But currently, I think we have 6 or 7 that are resident enrollment, and then the rest of these siblings, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 open enrolled siblings. So if we can pick up, 3, 4, 5 resident kids, and then you're talking 21, so you have a couple of small classes for K4, which is a partial day. I mean, so we can do that. We're currently at 11 and 11, or 11 and 12, I think, in K4, with an AM and PM section. So. Definitely by far our largest draw of open enrollment applications are
Okay.
K4.
Yeah, that would've been nice to be able to keep that full and then that.
But
Yeah.
every
Liaison
January we have the talk, so.
We have some decisions in 4K that we're talking about, so,
So Dana, you were asking, because we didn't, in that classroom, explain what you were asking.
I was wondering if the total number meant anything. So if we don't get the 3rd graders, would we be able to take,
Or,
but I guess that's through the ALTAP process, couldn't we take them somewhere else if we shifted
Okay.
our,
all right.
yeah.
That's
I-
through the
that's what I
alternative
thought.
app
Yep,
process.
yep.
so I just wrote down all of those, so like number 3 is 1, would be waitlist 1.
Yep.
Number 6 would be waitlist 2.
Yep,
Okay?
Is there any point we could, re-vote on that?
Well, we could still take them if there's room.
Oh, okay, all right, cool.
We have 14.
But not till August, Jeff?
Well, not necessarily.
It would be a late summer decision.
It's hard with 4K and 5K because they kind of come in at the last minute,
Oh,
which happened
gotcha.
with this kindergarten class, so.
All right,
But when you
Yeah.
vote in January and you send it into the state,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
the one time.
Okay, everyone good with
and
4K?
I agree with it. I agree with what we voted, I do. I agree with what we voted, but then when you see this, and it's $11,000 per student, and we're missing 10,
Well, 4K is half, so it's not as.
Oh.
That much important.
okay. But it's still,
More
that's a lot of
impactful.
Still
money.
adds up,
Yep.
yeah.
It comes
Yeah.
up.
And when
That
you talk
bubble
about,
is- that bubble will be there for all 8th grade.
when you talk about the importance of supplement with open enrollment at $11,000 a kid, and you have a budget that, again, is balanced, that now represents a surplus
Yeah.
of revenue that could benefit lots of things. So when we talk about an operational referendum, if we're talking about $150,000 or $200,000 operational referendum, that's 20 kids. Not even, it's 17 kids,
All right.
so.
So now we're on 8th grade, so we had, the board we had 0, so we have one student applied, but they're already a current student. I don't know if that's the one that you saw.
Yep,
So that one is not in play, so we just have to randomize 2 students. How convenient that was. So number 1 is 1, number 2 is 2. That makes it easy.
Very random.
Sometimes that happens. So this is an instance, if we feel like we can supplement 8th grade with 2 more students, then we would probably take them. But,
Okay.
7th grade is still a pretty big grade.
Yeah, that I wouldn't.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're all pretty,
It's 27,
Rambunctious.
27, and
Yeah.
yeah.
they're a lot.
okay, so then, let's see, kindergarten, I actually made a mistake on your sheet on kindergarten. So, you go to kindergarten, we approved 5. There was actually 7 applicants, one of them was special ed, so they're denied. One of them is a sibling, so they're automatically approved. But we could take 4 more, I actually had all of them being approved, that's wrong. So we have to randomize the first 4 will be accepted, and one of them will be denied on waitlist 1. Does that make sense? Because I forgot about the sibling, that's one of the 5 seats.
Oh, okay. So there is a
So I
sibling
messed
up there,
that up.
okay. Oh, up above, gotcha.
So now here's where the question comes in, because me being the names guy, if one of them gets accepted as a kindergartner, and I see that their sibling is in 2nd grade, we would take both of them, correct?
Is their sibling currently in 2nd grade?
They are one of the open enroll applicants that are gonna be on a wait list. So if you
No.
accept the one sibling, you
No,
can't
they have to
accept-
be in the school this year.
Okay.
So, but then the following year,
Then the following.
The following year, then that sibling would be.
Right,
Correct. You get the sibling preference when you're enrolled here for a year.
okay, I just wanted to double check that one.
So number 3 is 1. Oops, approved 1.
You gonna explain that to the parents?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And it's not an easy conversation,
Number
because
1
we're
is
splitting up their family.
2. Number 5
One gets in,
is
one
3.
doesn't get in.
So
Yeah,
a chance of losing that one.
4 is 4.
Chance.
And number 2 is 5. So,
Yeah.
so the 5th one, so number 2 is on wait list 1. Okay? The other 4 are accepted. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I know this is confusing to you because you don't have the students' names in front of you, so.
But the process makes sense, I,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, the
Everyone-
randomization.
Yeah.
Everyone got it?
Yep.
So when someone comes and says, you just picked this person because you know this person, or you're friends with their family, or
Right.
So this
any of the
one-
politics people bring up, there's not, it's just,
Well, this is new,
this is
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
total. Which is good.
Oops.
Beats a dice, you know. playing
It
a
beats the dice or draw the card.
Yeah, or I know that kid,
Yeah.
I want him in here, or I don't want him in here.
All right,
Next
7th
one.
grade. I'm not sure, we got 1 in 7th grade, they automatically said we accept 8. So then that one's approved.
So you got room for 7 more if
Yep.
they come along.
6th grade, we got 2 applicants, we said we'd take 12. One of them special ed, so they're denied, and then the one that applied is approved.
So again, just remember, next January, when we set numbers that seem like they're large, and the overall hit is 57 kids, what are we gonna do when we take 57 kids in? We had 40 applicants, and it didn't sort out across the grade levels like we thought, so it's really a lot less, it's a watered down hit, if that makes sense.
So right now I budgeted for, I think, 380, 300, this is my spreadsheet, don't look at it. It's not that exciting, 376. I'll talk about the budget about a little later, that, you know, how many students impacts the budget, but, so that's the process. So, for letter F in the agenda, so anyone that has an acceptance next to their name will receive an acceptance letter, and then they will have a denial and waiting list letter. And then there'll be we have certain dates that we have to do this by, and they have dates that they have to accept it by. So they get a good chunk of time to decide whether or not they want to come here or not, once they get the letter.
And we issue, so now, we will issue tours and permission to walk around. With open enrollment families, we don't wanna get them too excited, and we don't wanna fill up my calendar with tours that may not even be students that come here. So now it's the rat race of, okay, you've been accepted, let's get a tour, because now they're trying on for size, because they may have multiple districts that have accepted their application if they applied at multiple schools. So now it becomes a race to, okay, who can
Do what? How, the number that applied for open enrollment, how does that look compared to the past? Is it up, down?
It's about the same
Typical?
as pretty typical. We don't get as many as we have seats. Certain grade levels are higher than others. Our lower entrance grades are a
Right.
commodity because people wanna get in here and then
Yeah.
work through the whole K-8 system. It's a good place.
Right.
I just wonder if people really know who Raymond is. I've never, you know, Yorkville, even Yorkville in sixth grade, seventh and eighth grade, they don't get a lot of applications. It's just one of those things. This year Yorkville got a lot, but I think it's just, people really don't know where Raymond is. Even if they're in Racine, I don't even know if they know that, you know,
We're not that far.
Or where we feed
People in
you.
Racine look at,
Yeah.
at the interstate, oh, you're way out there.
it is pretty
You know.
far to drive your kid from
Well,
downtown Racine, so.
Yeah, downtown, yeah. We have some people that do it.
We do.
So that's
Okay.
it.
All right,
That's the process.
good job. Very good job.
Okay, so budget update, kind of related to this, just what's the impact of all these student numbers, right? So Jeff was just gonna give a quick, you know, here's how it all kind of, you can take a glimpse into the beautiful mind in a moment. His beautiful chart of colors, that shows his futures market.
Right. So this is not understandable by any normal person. So what, like I have seats that that you approved, and I have seats that we budgeted for, and then there's obviously a cost for each one. The open enrollment out impacts us financially. So this year we have 388 students. Next year I'm budgeting for 376. So at this moment, even with 376 students, we still can do the things that we want to do next year. I mean, imagine if we had 400 students, how many things we could do, how much more we could do, which is one of the problems, like, when you're trying to fix the building, you know, and things are breaking down, you know, that's where that money goes to. You know, basically, when we're paying teachers, we trying to get as many teachers as we possibly can to operate so that students have a good experience. But even right now, I'm okay with the budget with 376 students. The problem is, we can't fix anything. So if we have any major issues or, you know, a $30,000 something that happens, then we might have a problem. But
You don't have $30,000 extra in the budget.
we just don't have like a lot of room to play with, just
Okay.
because
I
all the
get it.
administration said, we need an extra teacher, you know. It's to give the students a good experience, we just need an extra teacher. That just
And we
means,
need
Gotta take
good
care of-
curriculum, and we need
Yep.
all of these things that
Yeah.
cost. And you can either have a good curriculum and good teachers in a school, which doesn't sound that novel, or you can have a fund balance. And so right now, it's either or, it's not both. And I think there can be a world where it is both with more kids.
But right now, with what you see about 11 students more than what your budget is working on.
well, right now I budgeted for, that's minimally 376 students.
Right.
So and he's had a few tours from maybe students that are residents that are returning, so we might get more actual residents.
Cool.
So that might be 5 more. I mean, that's
Okay.
$60,000 for 5 extra kids. That's how I have to see it, you know.
Wow.
I have to see the numbers behind it, but
You're really kind of close.
you could
So-
also add another 10 students to open enrollment, that would have been another $100,000, so,
So
But you're not gonna
388.
add to the fund
fund balance.
balance.
I will always present you with a balanced budget, a 0-0.
Right.
So whether or not
Alright.
we spend it all or go over, hopefully not go over, but that's the.
Well, you wanna build the fund balance so we don't have to borrow money, but short
We
term.
do, but the problem is that you can't
We're not
have
there
right
yet.
now both, because
No.
we're meeting we're balanced. We're not, as I mentioned in our feasibility study,
Yep.
we're not broke, we're balanced. And balanced is fine, but it's not getting us ahead for these projects and things we wanna, the building is aging. And so there's some big ticket items, and I feel like we can,
Well, I think there's 2 items. One is the building and the maintenance things that has to happen, and building a fund balance so you don't have to short-term borrow.
as
Sure.
much.
Costs money.
As much, yeah.
I can't believe how much money it costs. I have a question. How many eighth graders do we have right now?
40.
And how many do we have coming into kindergarten? Or four K?
Well,
4K.
4K is, but again, it's a little different, because 4K is not required by law. So you
Right.
don't always have an accurate number, that's part of the problem.
Correct.
And it's a part-day program, so we have, a handful of kids that maybe go to their daycare full day, because it's coverage for parents.
Right.
So 4K is not always probably the best indicator. Kindergarten-wise, we have, what is it, 20, well, you've got a magic spreadsheet there.
We have 23.
So we're losing 40 and
But
40 and gaining 23.
I believe it's 44. I think what
We
you're
have 44
asking
eighth
is how
graders.
many,
44, yes.
how many are we gonna have coming into kindergarten? So right now, we have 21 4Kers. 21. Last summer, we got 10 residents we didn't know about. That was big. That was a big thing. If that happened again, we'd be at 31. Right?
So we'd have a class of 15 and a class of 16. So then insert the possibility of 3 or 4 open enrollment kids in there. And now you've got classes of 17 and 17, which is pretty good size and reasonable. You could scale that up through a career and have a good fair class size.
Right. But, so I guess I'm just going back. Jeff sometimes says he doesn't, people don't understand his numbers, but I do. And my concern is we're losing 40 and not gaining.
That's pretty,
40.
that's pretty normal.
That
With-
is normal.
It's very, it's like, it's very unusual to have, well, but you also have to think about, so there's only, well, there's actually, so there's 35 residents, and there's no way we're gonna get 35 4Kers.
Okay.
That's just
All right.
reality, that's the reality of even Yorkville, that's not,
Okay.
you're,
In kindergarten, we'd like to have 35.
Right.
yeah, kindergarten.
We really want to start there.
Yeah, so like, so this year we have 26 resident kindergartners, which is pretty good.
Yep.
So next year, I'm not exactly sure how many residents we'll have, but
But the problem is though, when you have a 26 resident population and you don't let any open enrollment kids in, you now have either a big class of 1 section
Or too little.
or 2 tinies. And I think what parents would want is 2 tinies, or a teacher and a para, but then 26 bodies in a room doesn't fit the same these days. Scale it up to when they start growing, right? Our rooms are full, so is it raining?
Yep.
It's a hard, did you ride your motorcycle?
No, thank God.
Okay. It's a hard it's a hard thing to understand, so that there's a blessing of, yeah, we only have 26, it's great, but we're a 2-section, built from the ground up, 2-section organization. Teacher A, teacher B, all the way up.
All the way up.
And when you have that, you are able to have more electives, more opportunities.
Yes.
Or you can go with a model like North Cape, which is 1 section, some multi-age in there sprinkled in. Sometimes you have a 1-2 split, or a K1 split, or you have a multi-age thing. Or if you're drought, you have multi-age, where you may have a grade band of 5 through 8-year-olds in a room, or you have a class size of 5.
But then you have to manage that through all the grades.
All the grades and your budget takes a hit, so,
But if you have double up classes through everything, it just keeps on going.
it perpetuates a
Nice,
pretty
smooth
balanced
operation.
operation. Yep.
and for us, it's probably about, I'd say, 380 to 400 kids.
This building can hold it. This building has run that number. It's run as many as 450 in the years. I think in our heyday, at peak, we were 450. But I think 400 is sort of that sweet spot. 380 to 400 would be, and with that, you could run this thing balanced and plus, balanced and building your surplus.
At 400.
With 400.
400 for sure.
Can I ask a question? I know what you're meaning, but then why did it get voted to reduce open enrollment? I mean, what was the purpose?
At 4K.
At 4K.
Well,
It's-
you reduced it on a few.
Because there's people in the
But I'm
community
saying-
and people on the board that understand.
You know what I'm
it.
talking
Yeah.
about, Jenny?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I saw your face when they did it, and you went,
Yeah.
this, but then everybody voted for it. and
It
now
happened
it's like
pretty
a
quick.
surprise.
We didn't catch it,
Well,
what the motive
There's-
was really behind it.
But,
and now we do.
Well,
well,
there's people
then
that,
Well, I'm
so
just
listening
asking.
to some of the community, which that's what we're supposed to do as board members, there was some pushback from people, and not just my husband, he's one of them, but other people that I have talked to that have kids going to school here, even open enrollment kids, parents. And I'm a question asker. I ask, well, I think I sat down and asked you guys questions as to why you had this opinion about certain things, but whatever. I like to ask questions. As we go through this process, I'm learning so much more that maybe I would have now.
Rethought it.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. That's something that
but there's a lot of pushback from the community
Yes.
too about having open enrollment.
yes,
And they don't want to have open
100%,
enrollment.
they don't want it.
So which way do you go? Do you keep it limited, or do you just open it up, or?
Or they don't want
Your
open
job is
enrollment?
to keep the school open.
Sure.
Right, they
why-
don't want
why-
open
why-
enrollment,
and
but
what's
they
the-
also,
Exactly,
And the key is, what's the model?
exactly.
Okay,
Really?
So,
Yeah.
we're good. All
we're
right.
good.
let's,
So I think the key is though, our community has to hone in on what, if our model is running it as efficiently as we can in its current staffing model and its current, conditions with the school, every room being used here, a full house, then I think we just have to consider, there's two ways to do that, right? One is through getting more homes built and more kids here, which that hasn't been a clear plan to us from the village, which I would support in a heartbeat, is maybe a subdivision or some sort of growth in the community. That's one way. Or open enrollment. Or maybe a little bit of both. And so I think we've got to have that forecast to be able to say, here's how we're going to grow the district. Because the revenue, if it comes in, we can do a lot of things with it. But when you're running super tiny classes and you're sort of, this existence is dwindling, there becomes a challenge there too.
It's hard to get young families to build new homes in this area. It's just so
we have-
expensive.
yeah, we have an aging
Yeah.
community, and according to DPI, our enrollment has been declining for many years.
Not just ours. 2/3 of the state of Wisconsin is declining. People are having smaller families, people are doing more with less. They're doing homeschool alternatives. I was a virtual school director, they're picking virtual schools, homeschooling, lots of options. And so it's a competitive market. But again, we've got to work with what we have, and if we have a building here, let's fill it up. Now, I'm not saying burst at the seams, but do our due
Well, what makes
diligence.
sense.
So there's our budget, so that's kind of how the budget works, right, Jeff?
Yep, and we will be good, we will be okay, no matter
Right.
what we do.
In our current form, if we just took what we have right now and what we just worked through, we are going to be balanced and we'll be fine.
And talk to your
I get
neighbors.
nervous about those words.
Well, we can't
Because,
fix anything.
exactly. That's the caveat that needs to be along with,
Yeah.
we'll be fine. No,
won't
we
be
could
fine.
be in a hell of a mess if something goes to hell in a handbasket, right?
You're absolutely right.
So,
And this is where,
we're kind of rolling the dice, hoping we're good.
and this is where this dovetails into my next thing, which is the feasibility task force.
Yes.
Right.
We have this group of people that are motivated to learn about what's going on here, and Ed, you were there, and I
Yep.
thank you, and Mike, you were there, and others can come as they see fit. Again, that's not a board action, this is a community-based group.
Yep.
We had our first meeting, we had about 20-25 people here.
Oh, good.
I think you were here,
Yeah.
Jay, so it was, I think you both were here, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
I think it's, good turnout, and that's great. We've got to get the word out on what we're doing and how it all works. So Jeff did a good job with some initial, here's how funding works. We're gonna sprinkle more out there. The more information, the merrier, and bring a friend. I mean, I would love to have standing room only to that, because I want people to understand how some of these pieces work.
Yep.
Because I agree with you, fine isn't what I've gotten the vibe from Raymond for. We're not just fine, we wanna be excellent, we wanna be good,
Right.
great, we wanna be the best thing we can be for kids here.
Yep.
We don't wanna just be fine, but we will be fine, because there's this other pants on fire movement right now, that we're broke and we're closing, and that's not in the conversation right now.
No.
It's, we're fine, and that we're afloat. But I think the community wants more than just afloat. And that's where we've gotta look at how do we, and so we're talking with the feasibility study, and we're talking about numbers. Because the other thing is, how much does this stuff cost? Because there's a lot of big bucks here. that we're talking about pushing around with repairs, and you've gotta have accurate numbers, so.
Did the sewer smell come in here today? Is it in the building or just outside?
There's a little bit, just outside
No.
for the most part, but a little
Because they
bit.
pumped today, right?
I did not notice it, but my husband came here to drop off keys,
Uh-huh.
and he said, oh, it smells like a sewer.
Yeah.
But it
I
was
said-
not,
I said, we're nose blind. I
it was
didn't
not in
even
the
know."
building, because believe me, we would've,
Well,
we
it
have
was
a
in
few
the front
friends that-
vestibule, I think.
I get an update on the regular if this place stinks.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
and it's from the kids and the staff, so there wasn't any of that reported
Okay,
today.
That's fine.
But hey, tomorrow's a new day, so.
Yeah.
All right, so that was really kind of the tie-in, just again, how the budget relates to this and how feasibility relates. Our plan is to move forward with some kind of plan for the community,
Yeah.
whatever it ends up being here over the next 6 months, gathering input and talking about things. So, the feasibility study was good.
At the end of the day, we have a balanced budget for operating,
We are fiscally responsible.
but nothing to build the fund balance and nothing for a roof leak or a boiler going bad or anything like that. But
Limited
operationally,
resources.
we're okay. Okay. That's,
Yep,
Now just pray that nothing happens.
right. So, that's what we have on the task, on our list for today, under workshop. Any other discussion points?
Actually, I do have a question, since we're just talking about it. Ann, son of a,
I'm kidding.
on, sixth grade, under, I'm gonna say the denied candidate,
Mhm.
only accommodations for test taking, a smaller group for test taking and accessing noise. But yet they have an EID.
IEP.
IEP.
So that was,
I don't have my glasses.
that's the comment that the family made,
Okay,
but when you ask this district, do they have an IEP, or are they in special ed, they say yes.
okay.
So
As
so that
the-
means they're in special ed.
The
they have an
family
IEP.
said no, but
The
the.
family could say whatever they want.
Right,
Right. And that is, by the state, per the state, if a family is not accurate, we're gonna call it not accurate, nothing harsh.
right.
But if they're not accurate, we could deny them access immediately because of falsified information.
Yes.
So we don't play the hardball with that unless we feel like someone who really is truly pulling one over, because the kid can be very complex, and they say, oh, he's fine, nothing to worry about here.
But
And we
some
call the
parents
district.
believe their children
Sure.
are okay, so
And
yeah, I
In
agree.
their heart of hearts, maybe they
Yes,
think, oh, he is, yeah, he
yes.
is, but,
Yep.
but then we get the paperwork, and it shows that there's gonna be a cost that we can't bear on some of these special education
or we're
students.
just not
How
set
about
up to
504?
take care
Oh,
of it.
that's
Can
a
you take a 504?
504 can
Well,
be,
Maybe he's the 504.
What's a 504?
No, he has an IEP.
isn't it?
Oh,
So we call the district.
a
and the district
504 is
says-
a step down,
It's like a help, they get extra help, but they're
Oh.
not special.
but it would
Step-
be
step one.
accommodations, and it
Yeah,
would be,
no, yeah.
But IEPs
I-
are
You gotta
allowed.
have resources to help them.
yes.
But those are allowed in, yes.
Those are allowed in?
Because that's not an IEP.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
individualized education committee.
I didn't wanna
If
say
you
that
have
out loud.
a child that needs one, you know what it is.
Yeah, special needs, you're very familiar with them.
I have one more
Yes.
question that, not related to open enrollment, and going back to our organizational, a liaison to the village.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Keith
Schwartz
was,
Keith
no
was.
longer
Schwartz.
is.
Is now, he's been assigned by the village,
Schwartz,
Us.
for us.
for us.
So he comes to our things, he's coming to the feasibility, which is great, but then we usually have a board member here who kind of serves as the,
Oh,
there.
oh,
Maybe that
right.
stays as Keith, because Keith
Is
is
there
going
anyone that
to those
goes
anyway, but is there anybody
regularly
who goes
to the-
regularly?
To the village meetings?
Well, I go,
I do what I need to.
I go once in a while.
Would you like,
I
would you like to
wouldn't
be
mind.
the
I wouldn't
liaison?
mind.
Okay. All right, that's our liaison then.
Perfect.
Good.
Because again, as we're talking through things like, I mean, I'm up for the conversation about smart development here.
Yes.
I don't know where that is, or how it even looks. There's a lot of things swirling that I hear, but I think we could use some resident kids, some action there. when it
Has
comes
there
to
been
building.
development, interest behind your guys' house that near
Well,
the interstate? in
All
there?
of the things that have been sent from the village, that's their concentration, is from us to the freeway. And
More.
much of it is commercial, and There is some subdivision planning, but I'm not sure exactly where they're putting
I
that.
thought it was more north of you, but I
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, they wanna keep the sewer and water as short as possible that's coming
Right.
down from Oak Creek.
because of the cost.
But it's, if you go up 27th Street, you'll see the roads closed, they're starting to do it, so.
We get ready for Buc-ee's or Buc-ee's or.
Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
That, we stopped at
But
Buc-ee's.
on the border, you can.
We
Right.
stopped-
No
We
kidding.
stopped
Yeah,
at
that's why I
Buc-ee's
tried to
on
bring
our way
it, right?
to Atlanta. It is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Been there a long
It is
time.
Completely overwhelming. You
Awesome.
walk in, it's-
I just
I
want to
just-
try the brisket.
They got good food.
No trucks are allowed. Absolutely no trucks.
There's over 100
No.
gas pumps.
Oh, yeah.
No semis?
No semis. Nope.
Well,
No
that kind of
semis.
shoots on the border then, right?
It is.
Okay,
it
we are
is-
live stream.
Oh, sorry.
So
They're-
we're gonna wrap up our
So
meeting here in a
It
moment.
is incredible.
It is. I
Yeah.
go there all the time, on my way to
Yeah.
Florida.
Just, if anyone goes before we get one.
So
more
it'll be
brisket.
interesting to see you again. I think village liaison's an important role for us.
Okay.
So,
Okay, all right.
This was interesting, so thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your work on it.
looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Motion.
adjourn.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
I-
We are adjourned at 6:31. How about
Did you see
that?
the Franklin article that says Raymond okayed the extending sewer? Franklin, it actually had Raymond.
Really?
Yeah.
No, they're bringing,
It's coming down
the
underneath
village,
the river.
the village asked for it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, could you bring it down, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
And then from, it'll come under the Fox River,
No,
Right.